Video here by the Fat Files, Waffle House, the Roman Colosseum of the South. Okay, I've only been to Waffle House one time ever, and it was okay. It wasn't like the best, and it wasn't the worst. It was okay.
Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. I actually debated on which channel I was going to upload this video on because on one hand, we're going over a business and the business model that it has. But on the other hand, this restaurant is basically the Roman Colosseum of the South. And I'm pretty sure if you eat there...
Wait, Roman Colosseum of the South? Because isn't that like where people go to fight? Like you fight like in the back of the Waffle House or something? I don't know. There weren't Waffle Houses where I grew up.
You actually get a deployment patch from the US military. Regardless, I wore my schnazziest tank top for the occasion. Today we're talking about Waffle House. Okay, just to be completely clear with everybody, I was pretty sure I was not going to get caught off guard because Waffle House is already absolutely crazy. I started looking into it.
For those of you who are not American or from the South, Waffle House is like a 24-hour breakfast place. So they serve like it's like a 24-hour diner where they sell like waffles, pancakes, eggs, bacon, sausage, steak, pork chops, that kind of a thing, ham steaks. It's just a breakfast place that's always open.
And then found out that Waffle
like
House
an IHOP, but like imagine the IHOP is like a nice suburban neighborhood. And the Waffle House is like in Compton.
Somehow connected to the Manhattan Project from World War II. So they managed to actually surprise me, and we're going to get to it right after a word from our sponsor. Yeah, babe, what's up?
Hey, I need a boombox.
Okay, I can go get you one.
Perfect.
All right, I'll go get it now. Love you.
Love you.
All right, bye.
1 hour later.
Where's that boombox that I asked for?
Oh, it's right here. I got it for you.
What is this?
The boombox.
Yo, that's a sick gun.
No, I wanted something to play music with.
Is that that's a fucking Q gun.
Oh, that kind of boombox.
That's
Yeah,
a
I
hot
got
gun. I want a honey badger. Actually, I have one. I have the stock. I have this literally this exact stock. I have it.
Okay, we'll go to the store and get me a boombox so I can listen to music.
Can I keep this one still?
I don't care.
This video is brought to you by Delete Me. Okay, super simple business model. You give them money, they turn around and they make sure that online data brokers are not selling your personal information online. Okay, here's the deal. Pretty much anytime you use a free service on the internet and you click that little box that says, I agree to the terms and conditions.
They should have this service in Canada. They would make a way more money if they had this in Canada.
You've basically just agreed to allow them to harvest as much of your personal information as humanly possible. They then turn around and sell that to online data brokers, and that's how they can afford to offer you a free service. But when you have Delete Me, they go and they monitor all of these online data brokers for your personal information, and then if they find it, they submit all the opt-out forms on your behalf, so they have to take down and stop selling that information. So when you buy Delete Me, you're not actually buying anything, you're just buying your way out of all the negative consequences of all the free shit that you've already gotten. And because they continue to monitor those data brokers, you're buying yourself out of all the future negative consequences of all the free shit that you haven't even gotten yet. So if you want to give Delete Me a try, there's going to be a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. All right, Waffle House.
That service is for free in Canada.
So the story begins with a gentleman by the name of Tom Faulkner. This man graduated from law school at 23 years old, passed the bar, and immediately gets drafted in 1940 in the days leading up to World War II.
Fuck.
Because he graduated from college, he's presented with two different options. He can A, go straight into officer training, and that's a 3-year commitment, or he can just be a normal draftee and go in as an enlisted soldier, and that is a 1.
I have a question. If you're a doctor, can you get out of the draft? No? Oh, right. They would just use you as a doctor in the military. Never mind. True. That's true.
1-year commitment. Now you got to remember at this point in time, like 1940, while World War II is currently going on, America's not involved yet. The attack on Pearl Harbor has not happened. And prior to the attack on Pearl Harbor, the American people did not want to go to war. Because of that, Tom Faulkner figures, hey, we're not actually going off.
No, I don't think it's worth it to have doctors in combat. I don't think so. Because medics mostly are trying to do trauma stuff, whereas they can use a lot of doctors for other things. I think they should be kept on bases. Too much XP loss if they die.
the war. I don't want to waste 3 years of my time just being in the military, not actually, you know, fighting a war or whatever. So he chooses to be a draftee. Goes into the military as an enlisted soldier, E1 private. From there, goes off to basic training. As soon as he gets through basic training, the attack on Pearl Harbor ends up happening. America enters the war. He immediately opts to go into OCS training and commits for 3 years. After he completes the officer training course, he actually gets slotted to be a counterintelligence officer where he does, and I quote, a lot of top secret stuff. You can actually tell in the interviews that he gave later on in his life, like in his 70s, 80s, and 90s, that he's still not sure what he is and what he isn't allowed to talk about. But he did end up telling us that basically it was his job to try to sneak onto military bases, not as military personnel. So he would basically disguise himself as like a painter or a carpenter or whatever, and try to infiltrate a U.S. military base to expose weaknesses within the system to help counteract enemy spies. So he does that for a couple of years, and then one day he ends up getting orders like, hey, you're going to Knoxville, Tennessee. And he's like, okay, for what? And they're like, don't fucking worry about it, just show up. So he shows up in Tennessee and he's given his orders, and those orders, I'm paraphrasing here, but they're essentially, hey, here's your partner. You two are gonna hop in that truck and you are gonna drive it from Knoxville, Tennessee to Los Alamos, New Mexico. You guys are gonna dress in plain clothes. You're not gonna look at what's inside the truck. You're not gonna talk about what's inside the truck. You're gonna take this map.
Wait, what?
Take that exact route. This route avoids every major city and every major highway. You are going to drive straight there 53 hours straight, taking turns sleeping in the passenger seat and not stopping for any reason whatsoever. And he does this for the next year and a half, pretty much nonstop. And then like 20, 30 years after the fact, he finds out that he was actually hauling the majority of the enriched uranium for all of the nuclear testing and the building of nuclear weapons.
Holy
which,
crap.
as we all know, brings about the end of World War II, at which point he gets out of the military, moves back home to Atlanta, Georgia, starts helping his dad out with his real estate agency. Now he does that for about 10 years.
Dude, like, real life is so crazy. It's like the stories in history are great.
And during this time, he ends up selling the house right next door to his to another guy by the name of Joe Rogers, and they pretty much become best friends. Joe Rogers was also an Army veteran. He was actually a pilot that flew B-24s in World War II. When Joe got back home after the war, he did not want to go off to college, so he actually just took the first job that he was offered, being a short order cook at a now defunct restaurant chain known as Waffle House. He worked his way up, becoming a restaurant manager, then eventually becoming a regional manager. And then one day, his neighbor and best friend, Tom Faulkner, real estate agent, always looking for the next investment, comes to him and is like, hey, I'm thinking about opening up my own restaurant. I can get the real estate deal going on that side. I just wanted to know, like, if I opened up and bought a franchise of Waffle House, would you be willing to run it for me? Now, at this point, it's like 1954, 1955. Joe Rogers has a ton of experience inside the restaurant industry, and he basically tells his best friend, like, hey, don't open a Waffle House. You should start your own thing. Waffle House's business model isn't that great. If you start your own restaurant, I will help you run it. He then goes off on vacation with his family, and by the time he comes back, Tom Faulkner has already bought the real estate and comes to Rogers and is like, cool, what's the business we're starting?
Where's Pancake's house?
What?
We stop at Pancake's house.
And within the span of like 6 months, the very first of what is now the legendary restaurant chain of Waffle House opens. And Waffle House is legendary, probably for all the wrong reasons. I mean, even if you've never been to a Waffle House, you've heard about Waffle House because, well, I mean, Kid Rock got in a fight there. You've got Haley Booth, the viral Waffle House cook known as the last chairbender.
Wait, what?
There's the entire chairbender. Haley Booth,
what?
the viral Waffle House cook known as the last chairbender.
Wait, you blocked it?
There's entire subreddits and YouTube channels almost exclusively dedicated to all the fights that break out at Waffle House. I remember the first time I went to a Waffle House, I stretched first, I grabbed a GoPro, I was ready to yell World Star, Nothing exciting happened. I just had delicious breakfast at like 3 o'clock in the morning, which is probably 99% of people's experiences because despite all of the negative PR, Waffle House makes a ton of money and has an incredible business model.
She
Waffle House
caught
had
it?
about
Holy
$1.4
crap.
billion in revenue
Perfect
last
parry.
year, which is about $650,000 per location. And when you take into consideration that each Waffle House is absolutely tiny, that's really impressive. Out of their
They're really, really small. Like the restaurants, like compared to like Denny's and IHOP, they're incredibly small.
2,100 tiny Waffle House locations.
Open kitchen
Their
and
yearly
everything.
Stats are 58 million cups of coffee, 124 million waffles, 153 million servings of hash browns, 272 million eggs, which is about 2% of all the eggs consumed in the United States of America, and 85 million strips of bacon. Yes, I did the math. That is about 8,000 miles worth of bacon.
I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
So Waffle House is obviously doing something right. What exactly
I love that guy in Parks and Rec. That guy is literally me.
are they doing? Well, it all comes down to their
Hi,
business model
Chia.
and their branding. Now, with the Waffle House branding, all the
Yeah.
negative PR about fights always breaking out at Waffle House, in a way, has actually helped them out a ton, because Waffle House, by and large, is pretty much a regional chain. It's primarily down in the South. Yet, Waffle House has become a household name pretty much everywhere in America. You could have never even seen a Waffle House, and you already know Waffle House is open 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and they serve breakfast. Why do you know they serve breakfast? Because their name is fucking Waffle House. I mean, look at this sign. You're driving down the road, you see that, you know everything you need to know.
Yup.
They sell breakfast. The end. Do that with another breakfast place. If you're not from there and you don't know what a Denny's or a Perkins or an IHOP is, you have no idea. It's just a restaurant. Maybe. Waffle House.
To be fair, IHOP stands for International House of Pancakes.
They're selling
Yes, Waffle House.
waffles, which means there's like a 90
Have you been to Waffle House, Chio? Did you know, Chio? Did you know this? Did you know Denny's in Japan is better than Denny's in America? And it's like not even close. The Denny's in Japan is so much better than the one in America. Every time I go to Japan, I have to go to Denny's because it's so much better. Look at this, guys. Okay, pretty. This is the best way to have. This is my favorite, by the way. My favorite way to have eggs, basted. My favorite kind of egg. But if you keep going, you're gonna see it's gonna start getting kind of crazy. Like, first off, they have this here, a drink bar. So for 297 yen, let's see, 297 yen to USD, that is $1.90. All you can drink melon soda, milk tea, iced coffee, whatever the fuck you want. Unlimited. Matcha lattes, like everything. You just get all this crap. And yeah, it's so good. And then if you look at the actual food that they have, like it's so good. Like spaghetti with Hokkaido butter cod roast sauce. And then like, hold on, you go like, furthermore, like look at this, like meat sauce spaghetti with eggplant and soft boiled egg, rice casserole with oysters. And then, like, here, look at these grilled stuff. Beef hamburger steaks, like different ones, margarita chicken. It's so good. Like, look at this. Like, sizzle plates, like hamburgers, like fried oysters. Man, it is so good. Sirloin steak with choice of sauce. Right here, sirloin steak with lemon, butter, soy sauce, avocado gratin. Sirloin steak plate. This is my favorite right here. This is so good. This right here, this beef stew is god tier. It's so good. If you ever go to Japan, you gotta have the Denny's beef stew. I told my friend Remo about it. He went to Japan, he ate it, and he kept coming back and ordering it again. It's so good. Like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. Look at this, all this like fried chicken, Spanish style chicken and tomato stew. Look at all these different kinds of spaghettis. Spaghetti with Iberico bacon, rustic tomato sauce, meat sauce, Hokkaido butter sauce, cod roe, meat sauce spaghetti with the soft-boiled egg on top, carbonara with Iberico bacon, basil avocado, shrimp pepperoncino, Creole gratin. Like, it just goes on and on. Like chicken jambalaya, cheesy rice omelet, Thai-style, this is a krapao. Thai-style, this is the krapao chicken. Garlic rice, like sizzle plate, like they've got noodles, pork shabu shabu, rice pork. Dude, it's freaking ridiculous. Like it's so good. Like prosciutto plate, oyster fritters, like onion soup. They have beer. Like again, like the menu. Look at the desserts. Look at this. Devil's brownie sundae with like sauce and like matcha tea brownies. Like, look at this shit. Look at matcha mini parfait. Like, it's so fucked up how good it is. It is so good. It's unreal. It's so messed up.
9% chance they sell other breakfast food. Fucking sold, I'm in. So already, the branding is absolutely incredible, but here's the true genius of it. Why did they call it Waffle House? Why didn't they call it Breakfast House, or Bacon House, or Hash Brown House? It's because waffles had the highest profit margin. I cannot stress to you enough how absolutely genius that is, right? Because you don't need to sell breakfast, all right? Everybody's already in on breakfast, okay? I could be blackout drunk at 4 in the morning, and you could ask me, hey, do you want breakfast? I'm coming up like the Undertaker every single time. And then you go, the only thing open right now is Waffle House, okay? I was already sold on breakfast from the get-go, but because Waffle House is where we're going, guess what I'm getting? A motherfucking waffle, and they're making more money. It makes sense to Tom.
I think waffles are the best of the breakfast breads with like French toast. Actually, no, my favorite is crepes, but crepes are like they're the rarest one. Like they rarely have crepes, and usually when they do have them, they suck. So waffles, French toast, and pancakes. I think waffles are the best.
Faulkner was a counterintelligence officer because the man literally said 2 words and is already subconsciously tricked.
What's even better is if the waffles are savory waffles, like they have yeast in them and they've got that kind of umami, like when you eat them. Oh my God, those are the best. But where I lived before, they had waffle sandwiches. Waffle sandwiches were pretty big. There was a place called Brooksy's, and that was like kind of like all the rage, like waffle sandwiches, and I loved them.
Into ordering the most expensive thing
waffle
on the menu
BLT.
that makes him the most
waffle
money.
burger.
So the branding of Waffle House is both simple and brilliant, and the rest of the business model matches that to a T. Okay,
yeah, there we go. Grumpy says sourdough starter to make some waffles. Yeah, it's like sourdough waffles. Like they're a little bit savory.
Waffle Houses are like virtually identical. They're very small. They only seat like 30 people, and you can actually see the cook making you your food. Now, at a glance, you're just like, oh, they're just going for that like 1950s drive-through type of a vibe, which they are, but there's way more to it than that. Because the restaurant is so small, the kitchen never has the opportunity to get bogged down, meaning that they're moving tables very, very quickly. So instead of having 1 kitchen and 100 customers, you've got 1 kitchen and 30 customers, and you can just turn those tables over 3 times faster, which pretty much guarantees that every customer is going to get exactly what they wanted, okay? They're not going in there for 5-star dining. They're going in there because they're hungry and they want breakfast, and now they're going to get breakfast really quick in a small setting that doesn't feel like a packed restaurant where they have to wait in line to be seated. And I know what you're thinking. What if one Waffle House just reaches its
waffles are so good. Man, I want a waffle. It's not good for me.
Maximum capacity, right? What if it's just completely full with a line out the door 24/7 every day of the year? Waffle House surely would build a bigger Waffle House, right? No, we're gonna take the same parking lot, and right next to that first Waffle House, we're gonna build a second fucking Waffle House, okay? The plan is working. If it's not broke.
What? There's 3 Waffle Houses.
Bigger Waffle House, right? No, we're gonna take the same parking lot, and right next to that first
Waffle House there.
Waffle House, we're gonna build a
Waffle House there.
Second fucking Waffle House, okay?
And then the third Waffle House.
Working, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. Which is one of those things that seems dumb, but is actually brilliant. So obviously, speed is key to this business model, and they've done themselves a big favor with their menu because their menu is overwhelmingly simple, okay? It's literally
it's one page
of 1 piece of paper. Okay, the entire menu is comprised of like 10 things. They have waffles, sausage, bacon, ham, eggs, toast, biscuits, gravy.
Wait. They don't have pork chops anymore? They don't have pork chops anymore at Waffle House? But that was my favorite. Oh, it's on the backside.
Butter and syrup. Okay. Guess how many flavors of syrup they have? 1. It's fucking syrup-flavored syrup. The entire menu is simple. Exactly.
Also, like, you want to know something about me? I cannot stand syrup at breakfast places. I'm like that person that will go to a breakfast place, and like if my mom is like, oh, we're going to go eat at a breakfast place, I will bring my own syrup. I'll bring like a little bottle of my own maple syrup because I only like the real maple syrup. I don't like the sugar syrup thing. I have to have my own like real, actual, natural maple syrup, not this maple flavored shit that they say is syrup. And I think all the Canadians can agree with me on this, that the fake maple syrup is a travesty and it should be illegal. How is that rude? I mean, you want to. Sometimes I bring my own water to places too because they have shitty water.
how it's supposed to be. Oh, sorry, they have hash browns too. Sorry, 11 things, not 10. Anyways, moving on. Another reason they do so good is they actually might be the best fast food chain when it comes to taking care of their employees. They pay them higher than average. They have super flexible
Vermont makes real maple syrup. Do people from Vermont also get mad at fake maple syrup? I imagine like anywhere that makes their own maple syrup gets fucking mad.
I guess you
at
can
the
say
fake
that
shit.
when Leaflit waffles, she waffles hardcore.
I do waffle hardcore, that's
Leaflit
true.
Giggle.
100% true.
Leaflit, have you tried
Thank
the
you for the
bourbon
bits, Anna.
barrel-aged maple syrup? So good.
I've had some stuff like that. Yeah, it's really good. You generally get what you pay for with the maple syrup, but like I mean, here's the thing: the sugar is already bad for me. This is my logic, okay, guys? The sugar is already bad for me. I know I'm gonna eat something that's terrible for me, so I might as well make it the best terrible possible, right? Like I might as well min-max it if it's gonna be if it's bad for my body. I might as well eat the primo shit at that point. Right? Like, I might as well make it a good time.
schedules, and they're one of, if not the only fast food chain that actually offers all their employees healthcare and dental insurance. Okay, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, but really, how good are they actually treating the Waffle House employees? I got the one stat that's everything you need to know, okay? Waffle House treats their employees so well that employees are willing to commute into a natural disaster to work at a different Waffle House when the occasion arises. Yeah, Waffle House is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and they fucking mean it, okay? Whenever there's like a hurricane coming or some type of impending natural disaster, Waffle House organizes what they call a jump team, a bunch of Waffle House employees from a different region that's going to be unaffected because they know that their local employees are going to be busy taking care of their own.
I was about to make a joke, like a bad joke, and it's one of those moments where the joke bubbled up to the surface, like it just bubbled up from the depths of my soul. It bubbled up into my brain. And then I had to immediately sedate it. It was like almost out of my mouth. And I just, not today.
Family and their own houses during a hurricane, so they bring in teams from outside the region to work inside of a natural fucking disaster, and they're willing to do it.
I never said thank you.
And you'll never have to.
Okay, McDonald's can barely get their employees to show up on a good day, and Waffle House has employees volunteering to commute into a fucking hurricane to make breakfast. And this is the most impressive part of the business because Waffle House has the best logistics and preparedness of any company I've ever seen ever. The only entity that beats them in logistical capacity is the United States military. Waffle House is literally ready for absolutely anything. Every single Waffle House has the playbook inside of it that details exactly how the staff is supposed to handle literally any type of emergency or situation that could possibly arise. And if for some reason the situation comes across that isn't in that playbook, after it happens, they immediately add it to the playbook. It covers tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, a hole in the roof from a branch falling, a car driving into the restaurant. You can drive a car into Waffle House and they're still planning on staying open. The playbook even has detailed plans for every type of disaster for what the local
How many times was Waffle House closed?
employees, while they're not working, should go home and
What happened during COVID? What did they do during COVID?
do to make sure that their house and their family are safe as well. Every single Waffle House has a backup generator. The stovetop, it runs on propane, and they have a bunch of extra propane tanks on hand. Flashlights, candles, batteries, backup water. They have a special menu of what they're able to serve when the water is out and they're running on reserve water. When a Waffle House location is going to be in a disaster area, that Waffle House stocks up on extra food, and then all of the neighboring locations in the unaffected area also stock up and stage food there to get them more food when they need it. If Waffle House
These guys are dedicated. That is fucking dedicated.
is a standing
They're
structure,
dedicated to waffles for people. These guys are the true heroes.
those motherfuckers are serving breakfast come hell or high water.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving!
Waffle House is so good at this that FEMA uses them to gauge how bad natural disasters really are. Yes, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, literally uses the Waffle House Index to gauge how bad.
There's no waffles in California. There's no Waffle House in California. So Yeah, if you're from there, you don't know what this is.
A disaster is. Okay, green, Waffle House is running as normal. Yellow, Waffle House is using the backup generator or having to use an altered menu. Red, Waffle House is closed. People are probably already fucking dead by that point. Waffle House is literally the Terminator of the fast food industry, okay? The fact that the federal government, probably the most powerful entity on the planet, maybe ever, looks at a chain of restaurants and is like, man, if Waffle House is closed, we need to mobilize the National Guard is fucking crazy. Now, maybe you guys are thinking the same thing I was at this point in my research, and I'm like, man, I need to invest in this company. I need to see if I can open up my own Waffle House franchise. This company's awesome. And this is where the bad news comes in. I mean, technically you can franchise a Waffle House, but most of us probably can't. The company is privately owned. It's not on the stock market. It's still owned by the families of the original 2 founders. And while they do allow franchises, they are super picky about who they let buy in to have a franchise, and they make it very, very expensive to buy in.
Oh, so it's not even like you can't buy one if you wanted to. It's only if they allow you to
make sure this is actually what you want. And while that is unfortunate, I think it's actually kind of awesome. It's a company that actually has morals.
Yeah, quality control, because the problem is like a lot of the times these franchises, they suck ass. This is like the major issue with like McDonald's is I never know if I'm going to a McDonald's or like a KFC or something like that. I never know if it's going to be good or not. Right? Like you could go to McDonald's and it tastes absolute fucking garbage dog shit, and you can go to like another one and it's like completely different.
And cares about their image more than they care about next quarter's profits, okay? It's a company that has committed themselves to making breakfast under any circumstances, and they're gonna see that through till the very end, even though they could probably make way more money by just selling franchises and letting whoever the fuck throw up a Waffle House. And now for the fairy tale ending, Joe and Tom worked together as best friends for 62 years to build Waffle House into what it is today. They both passed away at the ages of 97 and 98, and now Waffle House and their legacy lives on as that company is still being operated by their kids. And that is the American dream. Get together with one of your best friends, pick a goal, even if it's something as simple as serving breakfast to people, and never let anything get in between you and achieving your goal, even hurricanes and floods and natural disasters, apparently. Work with your best buddy for 62 years straight and then die together and hand it off to your kids.
That's fucking hardcore.
In conclusion, Waffle House is the most American company ever, and that's why I love it. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
That's actually awesome. You know, the funny thing is, this is like the best Waffle House ad that you could have made. It's like, damn, I kind of want Waffle House now. And like, I would have never wanted Waffle House before this. But like, wait, really? Like they're like family owned. Like they don't sell out. They're always open. They support each other in emergency. Like, dude, I kind of want to go right now.